Okay, guys, before we're gonna start playing the video, let me take you to the sketching board. I think this is where we should start every single project, especially like building something. So, let me show you first a few information about the gate. So, I've got the post. I'm gonna draw that for you. So, we've got two posts and they 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. We've got two of them. In my case, this one is there is a wall of the house, and they come out in 2 meters, which is 2000 millimeters. This is important. So when we making the gate, obviously this is gonna be gate like look like. So we've got one post, second one over here, one over here, and this obviously depends when you look. Let's say if you look from the back of the door, you need to go like this way, because the gate, the all is dropping down here. That's why this needs to support this corner here. So them two posts, which is the part of the gate, I cut them on 1.9 meters. So this one is 1.9 meters. The second one is the same, obviously. And there is another one. So we go like this. Okay. So they're 1.9 meters, and the top of the gate, let's mark it here. You're gonna see that on the video, but it's gonna make sense later on to you. So one's here, and this one's going like this. And on this side here, over here, and this one goes like this. That's really basic actually, so pretty much every gate is made the same way. So top of that from the bottom I did is 1.8 meters. The reason why, because I was using tongue and groove boards, and they are 5400 millimeters, 4.5 meters. And when you divide that by 3, that will give you 1.8 meters. That's why I decide to go, and this will go to the bottom here, which is you're gonna see on the video. The reason why I'm calculate that way is because we want to save as much material as possible. So we don't want to buy, I don't know, let's say 2 meters board and cut like 1.2 meters and throw it away, rest of it. So that's why I'm doing like this, 1.8 meter. And it's also, I think that's quite long enough anyway. This board, this timber here, the size of it I used is exactly 100 by 47 millimeters. That's what I used here. And those posts are same as this, which is like 100 by 100. And straight away I can tell you where this one is attached to the wall, where you're gonna see on the video soon, is absolutely fine, but this one is very long. It's going about, I think about 70 centimeters to the ground, and unfortunately it bends. The gate is that heavy, then it's actually do like this. So what I had to do, I didn't want to do it, but I didn't have a choice. First, there is my neighbor's fence. I screw that into the neighbor's fence, but this is still to me like not perfect. That's why I attach another bolt here between over there. So this basically will push that here that way. So I'm not have to worry now if for some reason those screws not gonna hold enough. I always got that one on the top and it's gonna be really strong then. So that's the basic. Now let me show you how I'm gonna make in this gate. This is the top view. So we've got 100 by 100. It all depends what you're gonna have, obviously. But this is like give you like when you do sketch for yourself, you can just find out the right timber for you, and you can make a really nice looking gate. At least in my opinion. Don't know. Let me know if you agree with me or not. So this one, this timber here, it goes over there. And this one is 47 millimeters. To that, we're going to be attaching tongue and groove boards, and they 19 millimeters each. You can get 25, for example, but they cost a little bit more. And as a frame, I'm making here. This is the frame, and this is 25 millimeters. And on top of that, actually this should be like almost to the edge, but it's just a sketching. So, and on top of that, I'm using like this type of stuff to make like a nice finish on top of that. And it always look the best if you can, when you add up all these things, like which is with what we've got here, 47 plus 19 plus 25, and that will give you total of 91 millimeters. I couldn't find anything on 91 millimeters. It doesn't have to be 94. If it's gonna be like 89, 87, it don't matter. It's gonna be still looking really good. But I couldn't find, I was able to find 100 millimeters, which is same width like the post. So it's kind of sticking out a little bit of the frame. Not a big fan of this. And I probably, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna cut that off, or maybe we'll see. Maybe I'm gonna leave it as it is. So if you look, if you were looking from that direction, so let me make another. So this is the post, like a side view. This is the timber we've got here, which is this one, or this one. There we've got boards here, they're going all the way down. And then we've got that frame. And on top of that, we've got this 100 millimeters, that, like this. It looks better when it ends up exactly where this final piece is over here. But I'll show you the picture because the gate on the front of my house, I was able to find exactly timber I needed to. And it looks a lot nicer in my opinion, but it is what it is. It's also, I'm looking for the cost. Another thing is those posts, I like when they cost a lot more. That's why I go with the cheaper way, because they don't have a smooth finish. They create pretty rough, which is I don't like it. But the price, I think, for them is like extra. I think they double nearly the price. So I've got them on the front of my house on the gate, and they look a lot nicer than this. But as it is what it is. So that's a basic sketch actually. So when I show you the video in a minute, you're gonna see actually it gonna make more sense to you, I think. In the end, obviously, I'm gonna have to. It's not gonna be on the video, but I'm gonna have to buy some like you know, putting like what goes to the ground. You dropping that thing. I don't know what's it called. So it's gonna be one over there, some logs and stuff like this, and it's gonna be painted as well. What we're doing here, we got the big hinges here. They're massive, maybe a little bit too big, some people would say, but I think that it's gonna make a lot stronger that gate, because I don't want to redo it. I just want to do once and leave it for years and just need to be repainted. So that's a basic sketch, and hopefully this will give you more sense how to do it. I think also on this side will be a lot better if you got the same situation when you don't have anything to attach to this. What I think I will do the next time, I will be good to first or buy the bigger one. I've got 100 by 100 here, same as this one. There is also, I've seen there's 150 by 150, and maybe this 150 by 150 will be a lot better, but now is what it is. So that's how's the sketch is, and now let's go to the video. I'm gonna show you the whole process with a little bit of commenting, and hopefully you're gonna like it. And as always, let me know in the comments, what do you think about this type of gate? It's not very common in Britain. I've never seen actually anything like this. I've seen similar because people using the tongs and groove boards, so that's okay. But I add up a little bit of some special things, and hopefully you're gonna like this. So let's go to the video.
So first I'm applying 2 coats of this paint. It should prevent for rotting the timber. There is a first place I'm attaching my my first post. This is like a checking first. I marked up where the cable for the chargers is going. I'm gonna cut the small groove. Not nice cutting in a wet timber actually. I'm trying not to leave any rough edges, so in the future we could damage the cable. This is the first check. After cutting the groove, it looks like everything's okay. Now this is quite important, guys. When you're drilling the holes, try to make sure you're drilling in a brick, not in this what's in between in the mortar, because it's not really holding well. So that's why, as you can see here, I'm trying measure first. You see I'm checking here to make sure I'm in the brick. So this is actually the screws I've got, they're gonna hold it well. As you can see here, I bring back a big boy to drill the holes. So I'm trying to use the bottom first. So I'm gonna attach the post in the bottom screw only for now. Then I can make sure it's leveled everything and marked up more holes, and basically just same thing. We're just repeating all the stuff. So when I had everything pre-drilled, I was sure everything's okay. Then I'm cutting off the post on 2000 millimeters, which is 2 meters. Now you can see that from my beginning of the video why is 2 meters high. There is I'm preparing everything to basically make a parallel with the first post. I'm marking up, you see I'm using that string line to make sure where the next post is gonna be, and double check everything, make sure I'm measuring right. I could actually move that post right to the edge with my neighbor's fence, by the side to leave it a gap, because in the future, I don't know, maybe my neighbor decides they're gonna remove that fence or whatever, it's gonna cause me a lot of trouble. Maybe he's gonna ask, oh, the post is attached to my fence and stuff like this. So I always try and make everything so I'm not have to rely on anyone in the future. Obviously my neighbor is a really nice lad, but you know guys how it is those days. So obviously digging, as always, on how you can see on the different video, is just bricks. Some bricks, we always got bricks. Oh, it was pretty easy. So I dug down a hole and starting prepare for this place for the next post. Then I'm checking if it's deep enough. I wanna go as deep as I can to make it this really like tough. I used on that 3 bags of postcrete, and finally there was a time to actually start building that gate. This is the moment when I'm cutting the first pieces of the gate, and I'm cutting all four of them. Now after cutting all 4 of them, I decide to add up something, some details. So you can see I'm cutting off the top of each post, so it just looks nicer in my opinion when you add up a little bit details to it. There we go. I'm using that small piece to actually make sure I'm gonna be pre-drill the holes in the right position, so you can see here. So this is the moment They are 100 by 47 millimeters boards. So same as a post, I've got 4 of these pieces as well, so straight away I'll make them ready. So as you can see, I'm measuring from the bottom, it's 1.8 meters, because this is how long I'm gonna have the tongue and groove boards. So that's what I'm preparing here. And I also, you can see here, I turn around that board so I don't see the screws from the back of the gate. And on the bottom I left 20 centimeters, so a little bit higher up than the top one. There's attaching the second post, and also making sure that everything is square. It's really good to spend a little bit more time on this, because if you're not going to do this right, you're going to have a impact later on when you're going to be attaching the tongue and groove board. And now I'm making that let's call it a supporting piece of timber, which is going across the gate, so it's gonna prevent of sagging the gate in the future. And also don't do like I did here on this video when I used the chop saw not the right way. It's quite dangerous. I shouldn't do it like this, but sometimes we are silly. As you can see here, I'm cutting a few times, so I'm not gonna cut too much. I don't want to make a big gap between the timber. And attaching this to the frame and to the post as well. You also need to be careful, because sometimes when you got too many screws, you'll be struggle actually to connect everything together. So over here, I'm not gonna speed that up. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try and attach this. It's, to be honest, it's pretty heavy. Later on, you're gonna see how I'm attaching the hinges. They're really big actually, but also the gate is really heavy. Even now it's already heavy and it's not finished yet. You can also see over here the posts don't have that nice smooth finish, so I'm kind of fighting with myself. It's nice to have some help. So the way you're gonna make it, the first the one side of the gate, you're making the second one the same way pretty much. So I'm not gonna be showing you that, because it's the same thing really. So I'm touching this. Also, as you can see now on the back of the gate, you don't see the screws, which is I think it looks better. And also when you doing the hinges, so the moment you attaching the first one, it's good to have the laser like I did. So I marked up the both sides of the posts, so the left post and the right post, I already got marked up where the hinges are going. This is it makes the job easier for you if you're gonna be doing it. If you got chance to use that laser, it's really good to do this now. There you go. As you can see, first one is almost finished, and then we can go to the second one. And this is where I'm attaching the hinges. As you can see, I'm just trying to make everything in the right place. Basically, I'm using those clamps. They're very handy. I really recommend to use this. It makes the job so much easier. try and make sure this everything is like in the middle and the center. Obviously you have to pre-drill the holes, and this is pretty easy, to be honest. It's just take the time. When you watch the video, I speed up this like crazy. It really takes a little bit of time, so don't rush with that, because it took me overall, I think it took me about 10 hours to make that gate by myself, maybe even more than that, with measuring and making sure everything's okay. So don't rush yourself, take your time. As you can see here, I mark on the post where you can see this is where I was using that laser. So on the both posts I've got the same mark on the bottom and on the top, so it makes the job a lot easier, and then you're 100% sure you actually attaching the hinges in the right position, in the right place, so you don't have to worry that one is gonna be higher than another one. We are attaching the tongue and groove boards, and finally the gates start looking like a gate, slowly. Also make sure that you use galvanized nails or the right screw if you don't have a nail gun, to prevent for roasting, because then you're gonna have, like, you can see sometimes the gate is like a lot of rust coming from the screws or from the nails if they're not done right, if they don't use the right stuff. And this is where I'm attaching the last piece of the board that I had to cut down size, and I've got help with the camera as well. You can see here I'm touching the top part on gate. This is what I mentioned on the beginning of the video, how this could be a little bit shorter. I'm gonna drop the picture so you can see better what I mean. As also you can see I'm using the nice finished post as well, and the other part of the wood, so it looks slightly better in my opinion. And this is where I'm using router, because the wood is not pre-finished like I had on the front of my house. So this is that 25mm part you can see on the beginning of my video. It's a final piece actually. We're gonna be cutting a 90 degrees angle, so you can see in a minute how I'm attaching this as a final piece. And again, you can buy pre-finished, or you can just buy this one. It costs less. If you got tools, you can do it yourself. And this, as you can see here, I'm actually cutting this in the right length. So the top one, I can't remember, I think there was around 100 centimeters, and then I'm gonna, when I've got the length, I'm gonna be making the 90 degrees angles. In this one, I recommend use the knife to mark up the 90 degrees, and I can see that it's over here. I've got the 90 degrees tool, so you can be sure you actually got 90 degrees. And that moment as well, when I mentioned before in the video, if you're not gonna make your gate square, this time you're gonna have a little bit of more work. You're gonna have to find that angle to actually match that and make it look nice. So that's why it's another reason why it's worth it to do it right first place, and then you don't have to worry about that small things like this later on. This is also the next day, so that was the second day I was making that gate. As you can see, I'm trying to pay attention, so I've got this right. If you're gonna use like some pencil or something, you might cut this wrong, the 90 degrees angle, so that's why I prefer to use the knife in this. And again, take your time, guys. As you can see here, I'm slowly. I'm taking like 1 millimeters of time to make sure it's right. This is where I'm checking if my saw is like 45 degrees. I set it in the past with 90, but this is 45 degrees. Each one of them is 45. You see, I'm using knife. When you're using pencil, sometimes the mark is too wide and you might just cutting too much. Maybe in this case it's not a big deal, but when you're working on some like with tiny details, it's really, I prefer using knife. So I prepare all the final pieces for the frame, and I was ready to actually finish that project. And this is where I'm attaching the final bit. As you can see here, also on the top, the 100 millimeters, that top thing is sticking out. This is annoying me actually, to be honest, but maybe some people gonna say it looks better. Actually, I would prefer to have it flush with that final bit. I'm attaching this now. And the last information, guys, what you probably want to know, how much everything, all that cost. So at the moment, without the screws, because I had them from the previous and no paint, everything cost me around £355. So with the paint and the extra bits I'm gonna need, is gonna be a well over £400 for this gate. And I think this is gonna be it. It's gonna be a pretty long video, but hopefully you guys have loads of details, so very easily you guys can make the same style of the gate I've got. Hopefully guys you liked it. As always, if you got some questions, feel free to ask. I'm gonna try help you out to make that gate. As also you can see here, I attached that extra top between the post, so that one side is not gonna be bending over. So I think this is it. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it wasn't too long. And I'm gonna drop some pictures so you can see how the final project looks like without painting at the moment. So thank you so much, and guys, I see you on the next video. Cheers, bye bye.